All right, what is up, guys? Market Watch. Have I done that joke before? Has it been 3 calendar years since I've started the series? It has. Good Lord. So, I had the opportunity to go to Comic-Con in Birmingham, Alabama a couple weeks ago. It was the first out-of-state con I've been to since the pandemic, and the second con period I've been to since the pandemic. And I actually managed to pick up a Zoid while I was out there, and it was not the one I expected, but I'll try to show a picture of what that booth looked like and all the Zoids they had. I want to say it might have been one I shopped from before in the past at that con, because that's the same con I got my HMM Lightning Sykes at and a couple of my Mahler Spirit Series Zoids. And they had quite a good selection of HMMs, although they were all really expensive. They also had a couple of Zoids Wild Kits, like the Japanese Takara Scorpier they had, but the thing that caught my eye that I bought was this. The Mahler Spirit Series Gojulas. And it was only 20 bucks. These things, I think the last time I checked, are like 70 or 80 bucks online unbuilt. So the Mahler Spirit Series Zoids are becoming very hard to find, and I actually managed to find another one in box. The only other one I would have wanted other than the Command Wolf. So finally, for the first time since like 2015, I get to build a new Mahler Spirit Series Zoid, which is really cool. But in addition to that, I also went to my local store that I talk about all the time, Win Condition, with a friend because he was looking for some cards, and they had a new shipment of model kits in that I was really impressed with. So they had more Zoids than they've ever had before, and I'll show in the picture here. They have a couple of HMMs that they're able to get, like the Blade Liger, the Fang Tiger, and the Gun Sniper with the W2 unit. But more impressive than that was some of the NJR Takara Tomy Zoids they had. So they had the NJR DCSJ, motorized DCSJ, which was way too expensive, and unfortunately I didn't get that. They had the Cannonry Mulga. They had the Double Armed Lizard. They had a couple of Zoids Wild Zero kits, including the Burning Liger with the Gatling unit and the Cannonball. But the thing that I saw that I actually walked away with was not a Zoid at all, and it was this. So this is the actual jet from Macross Plus, the one that I actually really like. So if you guys know, I came off of a huge kick with Macross Plus because I had the opportunity to see it in theaters in December, which was really cool. But it's always been my favorite piece of Macross media. So I've been kind of casually looking at Macross kits on Amiami and HLJ and stuff like that. And I didn't really know much about the different ones that were out there. So when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, it's actually the one like from the movie. It has, Macross Plus on the box and everything. I had to go for it. And it doesn't actually have like the robot form. It just has the jet form, which is fine. I don't know how old it is or from what series it's from or what scale it is or anything like that. We'll find out, I guess, when I build it. So with that out of the way, let's get into the Market Watch. More Gundam model kits, figures of Gundam characters. Anyway, let's get back into this. So, do you guys want an HMM Zoid that is more expensive than any other HMM Zoid out there? You will be building for several days straight, is so large and heavy that you can barely pose it because there's so much weight in all of the joints, and you will quickly run out of room to display it. Then you've come to the right place. So this is the long-awaited reissue of the HMM Gojulas the Ogre, which infamously is the biggest and baddest and most expensive HMM in existence. And rather infamously, this is the one that I saw, my one and only time seeing this in person was its previous printing. And I saw this in 2017 while out at Anime Expo in Los Angeles, California, and they had it in a shop in Little Tokyo, and they also had it at a booth at the con, the same booth I bought the Great Saber from. Now the booth that had the Great Saber that also had this had it for about $360, which is a lot, but the shop in Little Tokyo that has Gundams and mecha stuff everywhere. This was the only Zoid they had in the entire shop, and it was $540. So they were just way overcharging for it. But compared to this, where here on Amiami you're looking to pre-order this for about $250. Actually, approximately $212, and then you're going to deal with very expensive shipping because this thing comes in a massive, massive box. You thought the Iron Kong Yeti box was big? This one is like 4 or 5 HMM boxes like put together. It is ridiculously huge. But undoubtedly a very cool kit. One that I can only really recommend to extremely high-end collectors and model enthusiasts. But it is of course it does live up to the usual Kotobukiya standard as far as HMMs go. And I do really love how, if I can get a shot of the head, I sort of can, but you can kind of see how they have sort of recreated the look of the motorized one, where you can see through the translucent cockpit to the light up eyes that the motorized one would have. I talked about that in my OER Zoidzilla review. But this is the really cool color scheme. It's the desert tan color. It comes with the massive Mark II cannons and the ammo belt and the special weapon on the arm here. So all that stuff is unique to the Gojulas Gunner and Gojulas the Ogre HMMs, whereas the default Gojulas doesn't have all those extra weapons, although those extra weapons were sold separately as a customized parts kit if you guys wanted to also get that. So yeah, definitely check this out. That is a lot of money to spend on one kit, but it is significantly less money than you would spend to try to get the previous printing of this. So if you guys are just that into Zoids, then this is available. And it's, I can't say I would, I'm not going to get one personally, but it's there if you guys want it. I would definitely recommend it. Otherwise, here on Amiami, much of the same. Their selection is slowly starting to disappear. They only really have the very most recent printings and then pre-orders available. The rest of their stock is going bye-bye. So the Fang Tiger is gone, the Death Stinger ZS is gone, the Rev Raptor is still here, but the Raven Raptor is gone, surprisingly enough. The Liger Zero X is still here, and then it's just pre-orders from there. It's the new Godos Markings Plus, which I highly recommend because I have the original printing of this. The new Shield Liger is available there as well, like we talked about. And I don't think there's anything else really noteworthy here on Amiami. Yeah, everything else is gone. Everything is gone. So, on to HLJ. I don't know what this is, but I want it. Look at this dude. He's a little rain frog, and I love it. So I think this is like a paint your own frog kind of kit thing, and I was not expecting to see this on the front page of HLJ, but look at this dude. This is great. Anyway, on to actual Zoids here on... There should be a frog Zoid. Surprised there isn't. Man, Zoids Wild really slept on that opportunity. But much of the same here on HLJ as far as their selection goes. Speaking of which, it's worth noting that the Gojulas the Ogre is slated for a November release, according to this, which hopefully gives you enough time to set aside the cash for it, because, again, you're looking at $260. I spent that on the Valkyria Chronicles Silvaria statue that's a 1/4 scale, and I've never spent that much money on a figure model kit, video game, anything hobby related. That's like the most amount of money I've spent on one thing. But great price for the Shield Liger here. Again, I highly recommend getting those. If you wanted to do some customs, I think that there's a really ripe opportunity here for a plentiful amount of just default Shield Ligers to go into circulation. And so if you guys wanted to do some customized kits, maybe do a green one or a red one in the style of the Commander SP, that's always an option there for you guys. HLJ does have the Raven Raptor still, if you guys wanted to take advantage of that here. They also have the Fang Tiger and some of the Geno... whatever the heck that thing was called. They also still have the Death Stinger. They just have a better selection overall right now, which is kind of nice. They still have the Liger Zero CP cast armor kits, which is pretty nice. And then, of course, I wanted to show off some of the US-based stores because a lot of people are talking about those. I'm seeing a lot more people on the Zoids groups that are ordering from the US-based stores. And what you guys need to understand about that, and of course, you probably already know this. I'm not saying anything anybody doesn't already know, but these stores are now able to purchase their stock of kits directly from Kodo, but they still have to wait for that allocation to be shipped to them. So it's taking a very long time. So USA Gundam Store has a pretty good variety, and actually, really honestly, a great variety of kits available. Allegedly, the Blade Liger is in stock, so you can order that right now. Same thing with the Death Stinger, the DCSJ. They're all in stock, so allegedly you could order one of those and have it shipped right away. The rest of them that still show on pre-order they haven't gotten their stock in yet. But what's curious is that I don't really know when the Empire Liger is going to ship. Again, the Empire Liger is no longer available on Amiami or HLJ, like that ship sailed. But I ordered my Empire Liger here. It released in December and is still not shipped yet on USA Gundam Store because they still have not gotten their allocation yet. So I'm still waiting on this guy. Who knows? Maybe by the time I finally get him, we'll actually be building the Liger Zero X instead. So Dark Horn on here for a pretty decent price. I might recommend that. Other than that, their prices are not great. But even here, the Gojulas the Ogre is under $300, and you'll probably still have to pay for shipping, even though it's US based, just because the size of this box, dude. Like, I'm not kidding when I tell you it is a massive, massive, massive box if you haven't seen it in person. And then a lot of people are talking about Big Bad Toy Store. Once again, you're dealing with the import markup, so they're obviously going to be more expensive than dealing with buying these from a Japanese-based site like Amiami, but there's the potential for shipping to be quicker and more generous because it's US-based. And they have a pretty good selection as well. It's most of the same kits, although, once again, they are expensive. Now, I will say, well, we'll finish what we're looking at, and then I'll kind of talk about this, but they also still have the Hasbro Zoids Wild kits, which is one of the main reasons I wanted to check them out. And honestly, if you were to get like this kit right here, you're basically looking at $10 each for all of these. That's retail price. I mean, that's not overpaying for those at all. Even these right here, looking at $20 each, that's not bad. I really can't say that's a bad deal at all. They have even some of the individual ones, which I don't actually have either of these two. Maybe I should. Oh, yeah. These are Takara Tomy ones, so they actually have some of the Japanese Zoids Wild kits on here too, which is interesting. They're in stock. They're a good price. Maybe you guys should go for that. They even have the Snipe Terra from Zoids Wild Zero. That's a pretty cool kit that I kind of slept on. Oh, wow. They actually have the Gilraptor Commander unit with the really cool alternate color scheme. That's not one that I really wanted to seek out, but the Gilraptor LC, the white and blue one, I really did. And then, of course, the rest of this is all sold out, so it's irrelevant. But, so, no news yet on the Redler. No news yet on the Greenhorn or the Koenig Wolf. And surprisingly, we haven't gotten pre-orders to go up yet for the HMM Gilraptor, because that should be done by now, frankly. So if we are on the same trajectory as far as the timeline goes, then the Gilraptor should be going up for pre-orders pretty soon. We should see a finished, painted prototype of that going up. And then hopefully more information about the Death Rex is around the corner as well. And then, shortly afterward, I think the Greenhorn is going to be the easiest one, because that's literally just a retooling of an existing kit where you're taking the Redhorn / Darkhorn HMM, but instead of including the beam Gatling unit from the Darkhorn, you're including the attack boosters from the Blade Liger. And that's it. So the Greenhorn should be the easiest one for them to manufacture, because it's using an existing template they already have, whereas the Redler and the Koenig Wolf are being built from scratch. So I would not expect the Koenig Wolf to even be available for pre-order for another year or so, which sucks. But I mean, that is the hobby that we have chosen to get into. So on that note as well, I'm seeing a lot more, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video with with win condition and that kind of thing. I'm starting to see a lot more US based stores slowly starting to get in their stock of HMMs, which is really reassuring. Hobbytown, the local Hobbytown USA, is finally slowly starting to get drip fed a lot of theirs. They're actually getting in stocks of the Zoids Aggressive kits, the Berserk Fury, the Death Stinger, and the Zoids Genesis Ligers. They're getting those in pretty often, but I don't really care about those. They are getting a couple of HMMs, particularly the Rev Raptor. They're starting to get those in, and I am probably going to check this weekend and probably try to pick one up because I'll finally have money this weekend. And I did give away my actual Rev Raptor out of my own backlog at AWA during our Zoids panel, so I need to replace it. And I was deliberately going to wait for a US-based store to get one in stock before I did that. And Win Condition doesn't have it, and if they did, it would be overpriced. Not that I can blame them. Of course, I kind of wanted to build the Rev Raptor and the Raven Raptor separately. Build the Rev Raptor first, or maybe I'll build them both at the same time and do the review side by side, kind of like I did with the Mulgas, because the Mulgas were packaged together. And granted, I know the Rev Raptor is going to be more complicated than the Mulgas were, but not that much more complicated. And it basically is like Kit 1 and then Kit 2 with gun is basically the equivalent there. So the Rev Raptor and Raven Raptor together is going to be a lot like the Mulga, Cannery Mulga. And I'll finally be able to put them all on my little Empire shelf in the glass showcase. So anyway, that's about it for this month. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.